What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone had a blessed, legendary week. Oh man, you know, I've been a Niner fan for a very, very long time, and I ain't gonna lie, I never seen a week quite like this. Like it just felt so weird this week because I was telling everybody that I've never felt like this. It always feels like when Jimmy blew his ACL, but it was very easy to be depressed then because we lost that game. So it was very easy to be depressed. But as always, we shall move on and break the Niners, Jets, and all the injuries that we sustained in the carnage that was Sunday. We're going to go ahead and wait for Al to get up on here, but and everybody, oh wow, everybody's slacking in their macking today. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's very hard if we just look at it from a game perspective. It's very hard to be really kind of disappointed in any aspect that we really played. I mean, 31-13. It's kind of hard to really complain about that. Obviously, losing Nick Bosa to a torn ACL, Solomon Thomas to a torn MCL, I believe it was, and Jimmy had a high ankle sprain. Last I heard, Tevin Coleman was getting an MRI. Nobody knows what exactly was wrong with him. Oh man, what else? Other injuries do we have this game? Dre Greenlaw got a thigh contusion. DJ Jones has an ankle injury. What's up, Jason? Bang bang Niner gang. I mean, it was just straight carnage. Yes, Mama. I totally agree, Mama. I was just saying earlier that it definitely feels weird because I've never really been depressed after a win. So my emotions, if for those who follow me on Facebook, y'all could clearly see my emotions were like this. They were like a straight roller coaster all Monday and Sunday. Like it was like victory Monday, but Bosa's knee was blown out. But I think there's plenty of positives to take away from this game, and not even just from the game, but also from the perspective of going forward. I mean, I had shared on Facebook yesterday that let's not forget in 2018 the Niners were 1-7 before Nick Mullins took over as our starter, and we finished the season 4-12. So we were 3-5 in the last games. Okay, TC has or Tico has knee sprain. Thanks, Jason. We'll go ahead and update everything with that. But yeah, going forward, I mean, look, this next really until Jimmy gets back is about surviving, and so I think it's very clear that obviously I'm not one of those people that believe that Nick Mullins should be our starting quarterback, but it is very. Let's just be honest. I mean, he's going to have a better team around him. So, are we going to go? Let's say Jimmy misses 4 games. Are we going to go 4-0? Well, that's actually possible considering who we play. But if we dip into the New England game, the New Orleans game, the game up in Washington, it's going to be a lot more difficult. So really, this is about surviving until Jimmy gets back. And although nobody is going to be the replacement of Bosa, I mean, we re-signed, or I shouldn't say re-signed. We signed Ziggy Ansah finally. So yeah, he's not going to jump in and be Nick Bosa. But if you add him with Kerry Hyder, getting Ronald Blair back after week 6 will definitely help. Julian Taylor, I believe. Yeah, exactly, Mama. I mean, next 2 until Jimmy gets back, definitely. I would even say the next three: the Giants, uh, Philadelphia, and the Dolphins. Most definitely, I think that we could win those games without Jimmy. Obviously, the Eagles might be the most difficult one, but even if we go 2-1, if you would have said before the season the Niners would be what? I'd be going into week 5. The Niners would be 3-2 and had played 3 games without Jimmy. Yeah, I'm taking that. Really, 3.5 games without Jimmy, and we're 3-2, and really, essentially, let's just say 3.5 games without Nick Bosa. Yeah, rub that in. Give me that, all that. I need it. Most definitely. Oh man, it's been a long day. So going forward, we need to stop with all this. The world's done without Jimmy, but without further delay, the Robin to my Batman, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adam P. from 49ers Insiders. What's up,
My
Adam? How you
guy,
doing,
how's it
bro?
going? Thanks for having me on as always.
Oh, of course, of course. You know how we do it. But yeah, I was just touching bases. I mean, if we look at it from a game perspective, there's not much to complain about in a 31-13 victory. Obviously, the main story about this is the injuries and MetLife Stadium, and really, I'm looking at it as a 4-game stretch. I'm looking at it as the giant or 3-game stretch. The Giants, the Dolphins, and the Eagles, or the Eagles and the Dolphins. And my hope is they survive until Jimmy gets back, and of course having reinforcements coming back along. I'm pretty sure that basically survive until Jimmy gets back. And let's see. I mean, I think it's very realistic to be 3-2, standing after the Dolphins game with, of course, Jimmy coming back for the New England game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, even before the injuries happened, I mean, shoot, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. I mean, it definitely still feels like my dog got his leg ran over it a little bit. So, but it's definitely not like our dog died though. It was like, oh my god, shit. Do I even dare bringing up the example of like, your dog had his paw leg amputated, but he still has 3 other ones, and he's still a very strong dog. So I feel. Like I said, I mean, it's only been obviously a couple days since then. So, I mean, I think everyone is still coming down off of it a little bit. Obviously, yesterday was a little of a downer, and today you still woke up not feeling 100%. But you do know you're going to get back a good amount of reinforcements, like we talked about right before the show. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of injuries, but there's going to be a lot of reinforcements coming back too. So before these injuries happen on Sunday, I thought we could win the next 4 games. Obviously, one is out of the way. Then we got Giants, Dolphins, and Eagles. I still honestly feel like we're the favorites against all 3 of those upcoming teams, and then against then against the Rams is going to be the big one where we're going to need back everybody and their mamas. But I'm really hoping we can still pull off the next 3, be 4-1 before we all know we have that brutal upcoming 10-11 game.
Look, we generally like to stay positive and give you reasons to watch and tune in every week. And we might be having a different conversation if Jimmy isn't back going into that, let's just call it the stretch from hell. If we haven't gotten, some reinforcements, we might be having a different conversation about the season going till then. But I think that this team, with the players that are available on the roster and the lack of strength of schedule, for a lack of a better word, I think this team deserves us at least saying, hey, let's survive until, like you said, the Yams game, the New England game, around that area, and let's see where we're at. And it's, of course, I had compared it to, it was a weird feeling Sunday, Monday, and even a little bit today. Although, we start to prepare to do the show today. So it's kind of time to put our professional hats on and take away our fan hats a little bit. But I compared it to when Jimmy blew his knee. But it was weird because it was very easy to be depressed and very down, and anybody who listened to the show, the following show after Jimmy blew out his knee, yeah, we were depressed. I mean, it sounded like a funeral, but it was very easy to be depressed because we had lost that game, and we had known, hey, that it's pretty much bye-bye for the season. This game, yeah, it sucks. Losing. It's like I told you when we had our little personal conversation on Sunday, and you said, "Are we effed without Bosa?" And I told you, I said no. I said, have our Super Bowl chances taken a significant hit? Yes. I mean, come on now. Any of the most rah faithful that's any bit realistic has to realize, are we one of the favorites in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl this year? No. And I think that's okay to admit that. And you know what? You could even, how we like to spin it. We always like to generally try to spin things positive. I even like that. Take a little bit of the pressure off. Now, obviously, the players are going to still have they're going to have their own pressure and expectations. And I would hope that if you talk to every player to a man, would say, hey, look, our expectations for the season hasn't changed. But, you expect players to say that. But if I had $100 to put down on the Niners and the odds were right, yeah, I put that money down.
Yeah, if I may actually jump in for a second. Going back to 2018, as far as what we talked about with Jimmy for a second, let's be honest. The 2018 team still wasn't that strong, and we obviously came off a good 5-game stretch. So it literally felt like Jimmy was going to essentially low-key carry the offense for us to have a chance to get in the playoffs. So that's why that was absolutely demoralizing. But let's be honest now. I mean, did our Super Bowl chances did take a hit? I was actually surprised to come and find out. I guess, and it was one source from Jennifer Lee Chan, who works for NBC. Alongside Matt Mayoko, but I don't know what sort. She didn't put her source of. It could be a casino, God knows. It could be FanDuel for all I know. But it was 12 to 1 odds before these injuries, aka the most big one, Nick Bosa, and it was 14 to 1 after. So apparently, Vegas or all these sites out there still think that we took a hit, but it's not going to be like the whole Super Bowl came down to it, and which is the reason why I asked y'all, hey, are we F without Nick Bosa? And obviously, it is Super Bowl or bust mentality. So do you think Kyle Shanahan went to the locker room and said, hey, guys, Nick Bosa's hurt. It's no longer Super Bowl or bust. At this point, let's just pray to God or we can come up with any fix. I mean, of course, that is not going to be what the talk is about. It's still Super Bowl or bust mentality in that locker room. I mean, you don't just change plans all of a sudden just because one guy gets hurt, even though we all know he's a possible defensive player of the year candidate in Nick Bosa. So, like I said, it was demoralizing. And obviously it hurts more because you don't have a Blair. We did just sign Ansa. Ford is hurt too, which makes us even more vulnerable, especially as fans sometimes. You're like, geez Louise, who's going to be out there freaking edge rushing for us? Kerry Edwards and, Kerry Hyder, and we're going to recall Deion Jordan. Are those going to be our 2 starting edge rushers? I mean, so it's kind of fair, but I am thinking about the big picture of all the freaking injuries we've had. We're going to get back a fair amount of reinforcement. And all I'm thinking about, too, Clay Matthews is still out there. Kenny Wake is still out there. And then you never know what pull off possibly a last-minute trade deadline deal. So I'm staying relatively positive, but obviously right now it still stings a little bit, but it's only been 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, and realistically – look, I know this is the review and everything like that, but I think that we have bigger things to talk about than what went down on that Jets game. But let's also see where we're at. I mean, I think that's where it is the one thing I love about the Lynch Hand era is that if we see a need and it makes sense to go do it, we're gonna go do it. So if we're at that yet again going into that Patriots game scenario and Jimmy's back, let's just say Tevin Coleman's back, but maybe Ronald Blair had a setback, or maybe Ayuk isn't developing quite as much as we like, which we will get into Brandon Ayuk and give you our thoughts on him as far as last game. But then we will go make the trade. And so I would at least like everybody to say, let's see what the team looks like on the field on Sunday, please. Let's see what Nick Mullins looks like with a week of preparation of, hey, you're the starter, not, hey, Jimmy's out. Obviously, I had seen it at the halftime, and it was actually funny. I made a little joke with the shout out to the 408 Empire. We were all watching the game together, and I made a little joke that you could clearly see that Nick Mullins was getting ready to get in the game, and they had kind of panned over to him standing by Kyle Shanahan, and then they panned off back to the field. I said, "How much money you want to bet that Nixon Shanahan's here?" Like, come on, coach, let me in. Jimmy's hurt. Let me in, coach, let me in. So I'm pretty sure he was probably obviously informed that he was going in at halftime. So it wasn't just, hey, go out there, but still a week of you're the starter. Let's not even be mistaken. How much practice time did Nick Mullins even get with Brandon Ayuk and Debo this year? Or, Mohamed Sanu or George Kittle or Jordan Reed? I mean, these are things that can we see what a week of practice and a game day looks? And then, maybe we can jump off the bandwagon. Maybe it'll be more reasonable to say, okay, we might be in trouble, at least after we see the team play.
Yeah, and I think if we do lose to the Giants, and the Giants, I was going to say, the Giants definitely have improved their team since the last couple of years. Ever since Dave Gettleman took over, obviously, they lost Saquon, but they just signed Devontae Freeman, or maybe it's not 110% confirmed. I did see that we're supposed to sign him. So it's Hammond and Wayne Gallman. That's a pretty solid 1-2 punch. They got some good wide receivers, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, and Sterling Shepard. They still got Evan Ingram. Daniel Jones, to me, looks like a solid young quarterback. They're still fixing the offensive line. So I think this is a good test for us. So in terms of obviously where we're at, too, with injuries. So we're a little handicapped. I mean, they have, like I said, a couple bugs. They had to release former first-round pick, DeAndre Baker, cornerback. That one kind of hurt him a little bit, obviously. But if we lose to the Giants, I'll say this. There will be a full-blown panic button. But if we can beat the Giants, we're a pretty solid team on the road, and then go up 2-1 for the year, and obviously you're above 500 for the first time all year, and then you continue to build off of that. You go and smack the Dolphins in the mouth. That's why I think these next 3 upcoming games are still humongous, because we do got to give ourselves a little cushion as once again we keep getting back reinforcement. But I think the games are definitely winnable. I mean, once again, what have the Eagles done so far? Not a whole lot. What are the Dolphins? I mean, what do they look like? I mean, don't seem like that creative a team. Like, these are teams that, in my own personal opinion, we still should be able to beat. Even as, once again, we continue to get a little stronger and stronger as each week goes by. I'm not really worried about Coleman and Mostert. Once again, we all see what Jet has done his first 2 games return. Solid. I'm a big Jeff Wilson fan. We know what he's able to do as well. I mean, if anything, it'll be kind of nice seeing a nice little bruising action going on in there, and him wearing out the opposing defense. And then JaMycal Hasty is finally that little scat back we'll finally get to see. And actually, me and my friends talked about it past week, and I was like, when's the last time we've actually had a legit little small shifty scat back? Kettle Hunter? Yeah. And those were fun times for me. I don't know about for you. Or maybe Chip Kelly days. I mean, I like watching him play too. Getting his name off top, DeJuan Harris, right? Did I get that right? DeJuan Harris?
Yeah.
He was fun to watch too. But anyways, those are 3 little solid running backs. We still got Reed, Dwelly, Charlie Warner. We still got Juice. Wide receivers, obviously once again, still waiting on Debo's return. I think, is this time to talk about Ayuk right now?
Yeah, I think we could go ahead, and I just really wanted to make one quick comment, and then we'll go ahead and jump into Ayuk and give you some opinions about some players in the game. Also the point is, I think what makes the Niners a lot better situation than maybe a lot of other teams is, let's be realistic. Obviously, losing Bosa hurts the defense the most. That's going to put the onus on the offense. The offense needs to step up. I think that's pretty clear. We need to run the football, take as much pressure off as Nick Mullins as possible. The O is where we're going to make our heyday, for the season. Not saying that the defense is going to completely fall off a cliff. I do still believe we're a top 10 defense, but and with that said, with the offense needing to step up and, obviously probably needing to be able to score more points, I believe we have the right head coach in order to do that. We have the right man pulling the strings at, on the offensive side of the ball to sustain the amount of slack that the offense is now going to have to pick up.
Right. And if I may make one last little point about Ayuk, another thing I thought about too, and once again, it's Nick Bosa, and he's hard to replace. But let's not forget how damn good D Ford is when he's healthy. And obviously, my little concern with his injury, I don't think it's going to be serious enough to the point he'll miss like the next month. But obviously, he's going to step up. He's going to need to step up to the max once he does get back out there. Once again, the guy had like 7.5 sacks last year and like 206 snaps, 212 snaps, if I'm not mistaken. But what I also thought about is the last few Super Bowl winners. Last year, KC, they traded for Terrell. I'm sorry, did they trade for Terrell Suggs last minute, or they just signed him?
I believe it was. I think
he
sign.
He was cut from Arizona out of nowhere for some reason, and they picked him up. So he was their number 2 after Alex Okafor went down. So it was Frank Clark and him. But their number 2. I mean, it wasn't Terrell Suggs of old. Let's just say that. And then right before that, the Patriots seemed like they haven't had a legit top-end pass rusher, obviously, since Chandler Jones. Trey Flowers was very good. He eventually went on to go to the Lions, but I can't really think of a number 2 they had. And then, obviously, the Eagles, the year before that, they had, like, there's Brandon Graham. Who else do they have, obviously?
Not to cut you off.
Those are, like, their top 2 edge rushers. I might be forgetting of somebody right now, Chris Long. When they won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. But once again, it wasn't like they had like the nastiest pass rush of all time. So what I'm getting at is, too, the linebackers in the secondary are going to have to play like the hungriest dogs there possibly are. Yeah. And obviously the rest of the defensive line. But it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah, to wrap up your Eagles point, they also lost their starting quarterback. Now, I'm not saying Nick Mullins is going to be Nick Foles, but 99.9% of teams out there, you lose your start. Matter of fact, let's be realistic. 100% of teams going in, you're not expecting to win the Super Bowl with your backup quarterback taking over majority of the season. You can win a Super Bowl with a quarterback playing your backup playing the game, I do believe. But if you're let's be realistic. If your quarterback misses majority of the season, your Super Bowl chances are generally shot. So yes, it can be done. Now to get into the players. Brandon Ayuk obviously, didn't blow the stat sheet off out of the water, but there was nothing to make me think that I'm not impressed with Brandon Ayuk, and I'm not excited. The thing I loved, and it showed his awareness, was when he picked up the incomplete ball and still continued to run until he heard the whistle. And what that tells me is I'm super excited about that, because that means he plays the whistle. And that means he says, hey, I'm not going to leave it in the ref's hands. What's the worst that can happen? You never know. Oh, it's a live ball. Now all of a sudden he runs for a touchdown. Okay, it was incomplete. Whatever. Better safe than sorry. And that awareness as a rookie is obviously the talent's there. He can run routes. I was listening to Striking Gold, and Eric Crocker had said that it looked like he struggled a little bit to get off of press coverage, but that's to be expected as a rookie. His talent and the things that you saw in his draft profile, his freakishly long arms, his ability to separate, his ability of yards after the catch, all showed up. Brandon Ayuk, I'm giving him an A. For his first game as a rookie, A.
Yeah, coming off an injury, once again, no off season and everything. I do remember pretty much his highlight of the game, which was actually, I believe it was a third down conversion. And that's all I kind of remember. Once again, sometimes I try not to stay too locked in at one point, because then when I do that, I always just end up missing the play itself when I'm locking in a certain player. But that's a term I actually wanted to use about Brandon Ayuk from the great points that you made. He was locked in. It looks like you're locked in, showing the coaches and literally trying to do whatever you can to give yourself the best opportunity to put yourself in the best position for the team. Sounds like, and it seemed like he was locked in, trying to do whatever for the team and making the most of his snaps, which is literally all you want to see. And we all know once Debo comes back, and then Kittle's going to come back. I don't think Kittle's going to come back this week, but gosh, I cannot wait until I cannot wait till we play the Eagles, because against the Eagles, I think we're going to go back Debo and George Kittle the same week. So and obviously that'll be exciting. Coleman will more than likely be back. By the way, Jimmy's injury is not doesn't sound super significant, but he's going to miss a long time. And to your point too, I was going to make about Jimmy. I mean, as far as Jimmy being hurt and Mullins going in, I swear to God, like after Bosa got hurt, I was like, and we all saw Jimmy actually play. We all say better, and Kyle Shanahan even made a joke about it. At first I was too, because to me at first it looked like I do not want Nick Mullins to come in right now. I want to make sure I do my best to complete my passes. He was finally on edge in a good way, where someone's breathing down your neck a little bit. And eventually, after halftime, the game was a little out of proportion. Obviously, Shanahan was comfortable enough to be like, Jimmy, take this rest of the damn half off. We're going with Nick Mullins. But I wasn't worried about Mullins coming in at all, because I think all 49er fans are confident in Nick Mullins to a certain degree if everybody else around him is playing well. So that's how I feel about Nick Mullins. Go ahead.
Let's not forget, in the 2018 season, majority of Kittle's of his record-breaking yardage, was set with Nick Mullins at quarterback. So let's not underestimate the number 4 to 85 connection.
That's
and true. You also add the fact that we got Debo now. You add in Brandon Ayuk. You add in Jordan Reed, who we'll get to in a second. This offense is capable. It's not like we're marching out there with the 2000 Niners, or the 2004 Niners offense. We're walking out there with the confident offense. Yes. Well, running back, we've said many, many times on the show, I trust Kyle Shanahan to basically be able to pick running backs out of UPS drivers. I mean, we're going to get production out of our running backs and out of our running game. I have no fear of that. But yeah, another player I wanted to go ahead and highlight just real quick was Jimmy. To wrap up to the point that to piggyback on the points that you made, Jimmy, competition brings out the best in everybody. And let's not forget that Jimmy went into this game. Yeah, he's a humble dude, quiet dude, and everything like that. But I would greatly believe number 10 is a competitor. And number 10 reads the press clippings, and he saw what people were saying out of him. And, sometimes it depends on your type of person. But I'm like this too. I'm almost more motivated when people doubt me than when people say I can do something. If you tell me, like, for example, if you tell me, hey, you cannot make the best Niner podcast out there. Oh, I can't? Watch me. You know what I'm saying? And I think Jimmy had a little bit of that. He definitely had a little bit of that. That's you're better with Nick Mullins? Oh, Jimmy's washed up? Oh, Jimmy can't get it done? Oh, let me show you what I do on one ankle. Because everybody that I was watching the game with said, hey, get Jimmy there at halftime. 28 to 3 at halftime, 28 to 6 at halftime. Yeah, get Jimmy out there. It was fine. Another player I want to go ahead and highlight is, can we give a round of applause, Niner Empire, for Jordan Reed? I mean, could you imagine Jordan Reed next to George Kittle? That's going to be scary.
I know, but it's going to be scary because to try to make all the personnel work once again, and once again to talk about Jimmy, don't you think too? Hearing all the negative noise that pretty much the rest of the 49ers do all the work, not necessarily him. So I bet that makes Nick Mullins go even harder in practice. But I did feel like, to me, while the game was going on, it was like Jimmy was like pulling through like no other, like a mother effer of like, I'm not letting him have his opportunity. I'm going to show you, I'm going to play even better right now. To actually, kind of seal my status a little bit before Mullins comes in and tears it up himself. Obviously, he's still going to be the starter. But you know what? Another thing I thought about, this is a great opportunity, too, for Nick Mullins to get a little more Nick Mullins showcasing. What if Mullins, I'm telling you, what if when Jimmy comes back, obviously it's not going to be that long, but let's just say, hey, Jimmy's out for another 2 games, for example, and Mullins just has great starts. I mean, what if he ends up being trade bait for a team that's either has an injury themselves or they're not quite sure about their quarterback room, and then maybe we take that pick and we flip it for an edge rusher or something like that. So some interesting things can possibly unfold the next several weeks.
Exactly, and I think this is what I would encourage the faithful to look at is look, we obviously, took a gut punch, a kick in the nuts or your ovaries, depending on if you're male or female. We don't like to be sexist here on Nano Faithful Radio. But you
We
know,
got
it,
kicked in the stomach.
but
We got kicked in the stomach.
every, yeah, we got kicked in the stomach. There you go. But this is people's jobs are on the line. So Quan Alexander is essentially in a 15 game, or I guess 14 game tryout for whether he's going to be on this roster or even another team's roster. D Ford, uh, Akilla Witherspoon, Richard Sherman, all these players, K1 Williams, all these players that are in the last year of their deals, whether it's to try to prove it to the Niners or another team potentially. Your resume is what you put on film. Eric Davis says it all the time. Put it on film. Your film is your resume. So
Yeah.
whether it's getting an opportunity with the Niners next season or another team, I don't anticipate that these players are going to be taking this lightly. And if they are, if any player is, I want to say this very clearly. I don't care who you are. If you're going to take it lightly just because we missed Nick Bosa and the injuries, I don't even want you on this roster. I want everybody 110% locked in, because look, obviously we like to keep it realistic on the show, but until, we're eliminated officially, I would like to just say the revenge tour is on until otherwise proven.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I was going to say, too, is like, if you can't get more fired up for everybody to step up around you when you have a huge injury, I mean, once again, I don't know what kind of human being you are. I mean, I don't know what kind of player you are, because to be honest, that should be all the motivation of someone goes down who obviously is a key part of our defense. Okay, it doesn't need to be life is over, season's over. That just means, if everybody can literally step up collectively as an entire team, and let's be honest, not just a defense, has to be offense and everybody. That could honestly, if they stepped up more than what they would have if Nick Bosa was healthy, and then that motivation got out a little extra juice out of him. I mean, honestly speaking, it could end up being a wash if you kind of get my point of everybody else plays even better and that kind of low-key confidence. I know you can never replace Nick Bosa, but you get my point.
Yeah, no.
If he wouldn't have gotten hurt, maybe that doesn't bring out the best out of everybody else, because you do know you have that dog up front who actually makes your job a lot easier. So this is a time for everybody to step the F up from the feet up.
Yeah, yep. And look, let's not be mistaken. I had, obviously, anybody who had watched my personal Facebook this week knows that it was an emotional roller coaster for your boy those last couple of days. But I made a post that said, "Hey, you act like Ronnie Lawton never missed a game. You act like Joe Montana never missed a game. You act like Charles Haley never missed a game. And these are Hall of Fame players. These are some of the best players to ever put on a Niner uniform. Even look at Steve Young. Let's be realistic. Steve Young, who is my second all-time favorite Niner, got his basically a Hall of Fame career because of Joe Montana missing games. Right. Steve Young was brought in because Joe Montana's back surgery. And so let's be realistic. Of injury happen. I'm not Joe Montana, in the '88 season, and Steve Young stepping in. Now, I think that was more of a benching than an injury, but that comes to the closest comparison in Niner history as far as something that we have like this and winning a championship. But how do I forget this? The first real season I ever remember, week 97 season, week 1 in Tampa Bay. Steve goes down with the concussion. Jerry blows out his knee, and little did we know the Niners ended up being 13-3, the number 1 seed in the NFC, going all the way to NFC Championship game. Of course, losing to Brett Favre and the team from Green Bay. So the idea is, yes, obviously we know we're not having Terrell Owens and J.J. Stokes and Garrison Hurst. And obviously we don't have those players on the roster with B.Y. and Daniel Stubblefield and Ken Norton, and the list goes on. But the idea of drawing from the history, history does repeat itself, and look, I'm not saying that the Niners are going to go there and Kyle Shanahan is going to say, hey, in 97, Steve Young went, but that is important to say, hey, look, it's been done there before. And if you look, there's a reason why they have the 5 Lombardis. And the first thing you do when you walk in the Niners facility is you see those 5 Lombardis.
Right.
Obviously, that's to brag about that and everything like that, but that's to remind the players of where the standard is set for this organization. Go walk up to Keena Turner, who works for the organization, who's a 4-time Super Bowl champion, right there, alumni coordinator. You could talk to Keena Turner all the time. I'm pretty sure a lot of the players eat lunch with him. I know that Jerry Rice seems to be at the facility all the time. So these are players that you could draw on as motivation to say, hey, you know what? This is what this organization is about. This is the standard that we play at. And you know what? Anything less is not acceptable. And so, yeah, we're kind of, not really focusing on the game this week, but, and we're going to wrap it up here pretty quickly, kind of keep this one a little short. But overall, the team played well. We give a big shout out to Jet. Big shout out to Raheem the Dream. I mean, what can you say about Raheem Mostert that hasn't already been said? The man's a beast. Top.
Thank God we didn't get cheap and trade him. Every time I think about Raheem Mostert, thank God we didn't get all he wanted. All the man wanted was a damn million raise. Literally, we literally gave it to him.
Put it this way: if the Niners didn't give him that, I would go start a fucking GoFundMe right now to go get Raheem Mostert raise because he deserves every single penny of that raise.
Seriously. I mean, and thank God for our depth too. But I mean, once again, we know he's a game changer. Obviously, 2 weeks back to back, freaking 75 and 80-yard plays. I mean, come on.
Let's be realistic. Big shout out to Chris Biederman, who does Candlestick Chronicles. He broke it down, and I believe it was like 23 point something miles per hour. And so when you
23.07, I was gonna say he broke his mile per hour. He broke the mile per hour, beat us the last 2 years, and he beat his own from week 1. But yeah, 23 miles an hour.
And so break that down. That is almost the speed limit here in California in a residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
So think about that. So if you were to take a car and drive through a residential neighborhood in California, you would only be going 1.93 miles per hour faster than Raheem Mostert was on that touchdown. So I encourage you, go in a neighborhood that has a little bit of a straight path, go 25 miles an hour, go 23 miles an hour, and get out and watch how fast that is. And that's how fast Raheem Mostert was running down the football field.
I would love to watch him run down my street and just to see what it looked like in real life.
That is insane, bro. I don't even know how to picture a human being
like it's fast. 10 minutes left till the grocery store is open and you're really desperate for booze or for something, and it's like, all right, there's only one option. Send Raheem to the grocery store right now.
Yeah. Raheem can do it.
You have 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and the grocery store is a normal 10-minute walk away, but with Raheem at 22 miles an hour the whole time, yeah. I think I like his odds. I like his odds.
I like his odds a lot. But before we get out of here, we're going to go ahead and do our Kittle Corn. First of all, we want to say Victory Monday. I always got to give a shout out. Look, Adam and I have been – I'm actually going to – bro, you know what I'm going to do here this week? I'm going to look up the Niners record since we've been doing the show. I think that'll be since we've been doing this show together. I think that'd be a little – so Adam and I have been through many, many rough seasons, many shows we've done after losses. I'm never going to apologize for a win, and I'm going to freaking celebrate every single win, with a smile on my face, obviously with a heavy heart this week. But let us not forget 2017 and 0-9. Let us not forget 2017 and 0-9.
Yeah, 2018 was rough too when we had high hopes. I don't think it's like that at all. And to be honest, I already feel better. I already feel better about 49ers season going forward, and all you can do is literally hey, stay positive, keep your faith, and that's why they play the damn games, as they say. I mean, who knows?
You play the games, and I would say this is one of the things I enjoy most about doing Niner Faithful Radio and chopping it up here with you every week, bruh, is that this show is very therapeutic for me.
Sure.
It's funny. Kim had made this comment. I did this real big emotional post and everything like that. And Kim sits there and says, "Oh, it's just, a tough Sunday for TJ." And I tell people, getting on the air talking about my emotions with you and my fellow faithful, helps me get over it. They always say that, talking helps you get over, pain in your life. And really, trust me, I've punched many holes in walls, gotten into plenty of fights after Niner, losses. That the show has definitely allowed me to mature and, been a real therapy for me, bruh. So
I
I
agree.
appreciate allowing me to do this every week, and it definitely helps.
I
Before
appreciate
we
you
get
having me.
here, Kittle Corn MVP of the week. Oh yeah. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say no. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like sometimes you literally do got to just talk about things, but in real life, not necessarily just texting. Like, yeah, try to keep the little group text afloat at times, but we all know texting is not the same. Half the times people don't reply. But when you sit there, you can actually have a real conversation, even if there was no video involved. Sometimes that's all you literally need to do to you got to let minds join forces at times to literally
Yeah.
think about things through and through. And like we like to say too, looking at things from all angles and,
Yeah.
making sure no stone is left unturned. Sometimes it's like real life itself. It's like, hey, not what's not going for you, what is going for you, and what are you,
Mhm.
what you should be thankful for instead of what you don't have. It's kind of like the same
Yes.
thing, even with sports sometimes. And,
You
the
know,
beat goes on.
before we get into the Kittle Corn MVPs of the week, I want to go ahead and say this to perfectly wrap up your point, brother. Um, you know, we all know what 2020 has been like. I personally have had many, many, many personal setbacks in 2020. 2020 has been a rough
Yeah,
year for your boy.
for sure.
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of. Matter of fact, I just met OG, a fellow faithful, last week that had his dad, his brother, and his mother all in the hospital with corona, and his
Jeez.
dad didn't make it out. And so
Damn.
like I'm asking your whole family in the hospital at the same time with corona, and you're self quarantine tested positive. Now he didn't show any symptoms, but he's still, so let us all take the fact that, what, it's 2020, we're in a freaking pandemic, but we can still, for 3 hours a week, sit back and watch some football. And I
Right.
think that in a crazy year, let's all appreciate that. And
Right.
the reason I have this flag right here, and this is the first thing I see every morning I wake up, is to put me in my mindset of what this is really about. This football team right here, I've been through rough times in my life, but this football team's always been here for me. You know what? In a freaking pandemic, okay, over just in Santa Clara County alone, we've already had 20,000 cases, 295 deaths in Santa Clara County alone.
Damn.
Okay. And in a pandemic, this team is still playing. In the very county that this team plays, we've already had 20,000 people catch corona. So I'm never going to abandon this team. And I think that, what, we could all take positive out of that. Hey, the Niners have never abandoned us. They've been there every Sunday or Thursday or Monday or Sunday night, whatever. And so let's be there. But Kidder Corn MVP of the week, you know what? I'll let you go ahead and go after me, bro. But I got to give it to Jimmy Garoppolo. I got to
Okay.
give it to Jimmy Garoppolo because to me, is Jimmy the next Joe Montana? No. But is Jimmy a starting caliber playoff Super Bowl caliber quarterback? Yes. And if anybody doubts the dedication, the grit, the love of his team that he has, you didn't watch Sunday's game. Because Jimmy clearly left it all on the field. And for that, I'm critical of Jimmy when he deserves. Obviously, everybody who knows me knows I'm a big Jimmy G. Cool fan. I do believe he is the one. Jimmy is our king. He'll win us our sixth ring. And on that day, all faithful will sing Jimmy is our king. But I am critical of Jimmy when he deserves it. So
Yeah.
I will give him praise when he deserves it. Jimmy Garoppolo, my Kittle Corn MVP of the week. Adam?
I like that. And because, and just to quickly add a little 2 cents to yours, and
Yeah.
remember we talked about it last week. We said, somebody like Jimmy, especially missing weapons and stuff. I mean, he needed a preseason like no other, in my own personal opinion. And we just said, pump the brakes. Let's see how he looks next week. And even with the damn hurt ankle, he was slinging the damn thing like
Yeah.
we
14
didn't,
of 16.
we hadn't seen him do since last season at some
Yeah.
point. Probably the first half of the Super Bowl, to be honest, because he had a really good first half of the Super Bowl, and that actually goes lost into fruition sometimes. I thought he played well in the first half of the Super Bowl, but that actually went kind of down the drain. Obviously, A, because we lost, and then B, his second half wasn't as good. But that's a different story. So I like that one, and hopefully it's good for him to kind of get his. Hopefully we're coming off some victories too, but who knows? I mean, depending on how things can go, hopefully they are victories. But I hope he comes back with the mentality of just letting it rip, kind of like when he hurt his ankle. Like, you know what? I don't need to be worried about nothing. I still got solid weapons around me. Let me go ahead and do this damn thing. So I like that one, and obviously we will be looking forward to seeing his return. Who am I going to give it to? You gave it to Jet last week, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, I did.
For his first game back, so I'm going to give it to him this week. He continues to keeps climbing. He keeps climbing. Like Morris Claiborne once said when he got drafted by the Cowboys, even though he ended up being a total bust. But he's continued to build off of his performances. Obviously, it's only been 2, but it's just very. What's the proper term to use now? I mean, now it's even more so important than ever to watch him come back and actually looking very solid, especially with this couple injuries going down with Pullman and Moser, because now he's going to be RB1 going into this upcoming week. So so what a better, even more so opportunity to continue to build off his first 2 performances of the 2020 season. Once again, you're happy for him, you're happy for the team, and you're happy that he's looking like a solid freaking all-around running back that we've kind of envisioned him to be. And I still think he's going to continue to get a little faster, a little quicker, and all that as he continues to shave off rust and iron out the kinks, as they like to say.
Definitely. I can't add anything else to that, bro. Okay, so Jason says no Kittle Corn for Reed. We'll make Jordan Reed an honorable mention, Kittle Corn MVP of the week this week. All right, y'all.
Next week. Yep.
Before we get out of here, I would like to remind everybody to get your Revenge Tour 2020 gear at NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop. I want to give a special thank you to Super Duper moderator Kim, Jamie, and Jason. Make sure that you check out our Good Morning Niner Empire episodes coming out every Tuesday through Saturday morning. Jamie does a great job with that. Make sure you check out myself on our pregame show this coming Sunday. Jason, go ahead and does your halftime update, and Jamie will be live after the game with your post-game update. And Adam and I will be back on Friday. Times TBD for the time, but Adam and I will be back on Friday for your Niners Giants preview. Anything you want to add, brother?
No, I was going to say we'll probably have some stats for the game after 2 weeks. I think now I can go ahead and look at some statistics for each side of each team, obviously offensive, defensively. So we'll go over that. We'll go over how much like who's coming back from injuries and obviously who's going to end up looking like they'll probably be inactive or active for the actual game itself. And other than that, go Lakers.
Yeah, go Lakers, baby. Hey, time to get 17. Yeah, I know, right? I'm about to see if I can get it on. KBR has been hating on me getting the Laker games, bro. I haven't been able to listen to one freaking playoff game. It's been pissing me off. But yeah, yes, go Lakers. Time to win number 17. So for Super Duper moderator Kim, Jamie, and Jason, and myself and Adam, we'd like to say go ahead and make sure to follow Adam at 49ers Insiders on Twitter. Follow Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. We shall see everybody on Friday. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
Go Niners.
See you next.
All right, DJ. Thanks, everyone.